Welcome, junior students and parents. Thank you for taking the time to check out this year's post-secondary planning presentation. This is an important step in every student's life. Today, we will focus on finding the right fit for your student and researching post-secondary options. After graduation, students typically choose from 5 pathways. Some directly go into the workforce. Some enter a career or technical school, such as Lincoln Tech or Fortis Institute, to learn a trade and then enter the workforce using their new skills. Some enlist in the military. The majority attend 4-year universities or begin a 2-year college with the goal of transferring at a later date. Least common, students take a gap year where they do something meaningful to help better prepare them for post-secondary life. Examples include volunteering in their local community, gaining work experience, volunteering for a national or international organization, or teaching English abroad. Let's take a look at the timeline of events for this year. This is the time of year most students are really getting started with their research process. Students had workshops this past week that instructed them on how to use Naviance to search for post-secondary options and start their thinking about list. In February, students will begin making their schedules for the 2021-22 school year. When making their senior schedule, it is important to keep in mind their future goals and what their schools of interest are looking for in their future students. Colleges do not like to see students take a largely reduced course load senior year or take what they call fluff just to fill their schedule. Most universities expect students to carry at least 4 academics in their senior year. Courses should also show colleges where their interests lie. Students should begin registering for SAT or ACT exams this spring. Tests begin in March 2021 and continue through fall of 2021. Students should aim to test at least 2 times by the time they apply senior year. Open houses are wrapping up for the fall, but will begin again in March. Students should visit in person or virtually to get a feel for the campus, academics, expectations, and culture of the school. Around this time, our PV counselors will also begin meeting with students and families regarding personal plans and goals. Counselors will review the students' schools of interest and offer guidance and insight on moving forward with their selections. As junior year wraps up, students should start asking teachers for letters of recommendation. They should also begin to fill out their self-profile in Naviance, which allows the counselor to write a holistic letter for the student. Any student interested in playing Division I or Division II athletics should also register with the NCAA on their website and send their final junior year transcript for clearance. Junior year is the time students should become cognizant of available scholarships. Listed here are the most popular websites students use to research scholarships. Most require you to facilitate the searching. However, a few, such as FastWeb, have you create a profile and then they send you matches as they come into their system. FastWeb can be a great site to get you started with learning what is out there nationally. Senior year, you will receive a monthly scholarship newsletter with scholarship opportunities, and all seniors will be eligible to apply for local awards offered in the spring through our awards application and program. Since we started talking about senior year, let's take a quick sneak peek of the timeline to expect next fall. Step 1 is to get organized. The Guidance Department provides students with a pre-application checklist to help students as they gather the components needed to apply. This may include collecting teacher recommendation forms, filling out the senior profile for counselor recommendations, reviewing the student's transcript, and to complete taking standardized tests such as the SAT or ACT exams. Students can then follow the application checklist or flowchart as they begin filling out applications and financial aid forms. The FAFSA form opens on October 1st. Students submit applications between November and March. Occasionally, early action or priority deadlines are in October. Some schools will continue to accept students until their classes are full. Mid-year transcripts are sent out in February to schools. If not sent, decisions will be based off of the final junior transcript and the list of courses in progress for senior year. Schools will then evaluate applications, give admissions decisions, and follow up with financial aid packages. National College Decision Day is May 1st. Schools require your decision and deposit to be made by this date to be considered successfully enrolled. Graduation's at the end of June, immediately followed by the release of final transcripts. We as a department understand that the college search process can be overwhelming for many students and families, but it does not have to be that way. The key to being successful is to have the student take the lead, but to work through the process as a family and use resources that are available to you. Discuss finances openly and begin early. It is important to keep everything in perspective and focus on one aspect at a time. Attend virtual meetings, college visits, open houses, and ask questions. We are here to help, and schools love to hear that you are interested. The most common question I hear is, there are so many schools out there. How do I decide what to look at? There are numerous factors that come into consideration when finding the right fit. The easiest to start with is distance. Thanksgiving is coming up. If you are a college student, you'd be coming home to visit family. How far do you want to drive to get home? Are you okay with flying and coming home less often? From there, you would move on to academics. Which of the schools have my intended major? Or is there a specialized program that I'm looking for, like an accelerated MBA, where I can get my master's in just 5 years? Other items to consider are geographic setting. I know I would want to be 5 hours or less away, but I hate the cold, so I'm going to eliminate New England. Size is a big one. Although size generally can be a good filter to choose schools, it is important to consider multiple options. You may select schools above 5,000 in a search because you're afraid of a smaller school, but you could miss out on a school that is a great fit for you and only has 4,900 students. Does that make sense? Finally, admissions criteria and cost. When you create your list, you want it to be balanced. Your counselor will help you with this, and we will discuss it further in a moment. In terms of cost, every school has a net price calculator on their website that will help you determine if college may be a financial consideration for your family. The search process is a cyclical process and will repeat until you finalize your list. You begin by researching schools using the available resources. You then attend open houses, tours, college fairs, and look deeper into the schools you are interested in. You reach out to admissions counselors, collect information, and determine if the college makes it to your final list. If a new school pops up on your radar, you start the process again and continue to add to your list. You've done your research, you have a good number of schools in your thinking about list. Now what? Remember, every student is different, so there's no set formula. Based on our experience, we offer the following guidance. Your final list should include approximately 4 to 8 schools. You want that list to be balanced. In other words, you want to make sure it includes safety, target, and reach schools. Safety schools are schools you know you can get into based on your credentials and the academic criteria the school has set. Since you are above the average expectation, you can possibly even earn scholarships to these schools, reducing the final cost. Target schools are schools where you are academically within the average GPA and test scores. Finally, a reach school is one where you are just below the expectation, or it is a highly competitive school that only accepts a limited number of students. You would not want a list full of reach schools, as you may not receive acceptances, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation in the spring where you need to find new options. Once you have your list, you want to begin researching what is needed to apply to each school and research the available deadlines for application. Most schools offer several options for students to choose from. Popular deadlines. Early decision. This is the option you will use and see the least. Deadlines can fall between October 1st and November 30th. Early decision means this school is your first choice. It is your dream school. By applying early decision, you are committing to this school and saying, if you accept me, I will attend no matter the circumstances, and I will withdraw all other applications. Applying is a binding agreement if accepted. You can only apply to one school. Early decision. Early action. Early action deadlines also fall between October 1st and November 30th, but the difference is your application is not a binding contract. Submitting an early application allows prepared students a better shot at getting in and an earlier admission decision. Typically, you can apply to multiple schools' early action. However, watch the fine print here, as some schools will only run a restrictive or single choice early action program, which means you can only submit to that particular school through that pathway. Priority deadlines are offered by schools as an incentive to apply early. Applying by the priority deadline allows you the best consideration for admission and merit aid. Rolling admission means the school begins accepting applications as soon as their window opens and will continue to accept applications until they reach their quota. Applications are reviewed as they are received, allowing for a 2 to 6 week turnaround. With this type of admission, although the window is larger, you want to get in early and to have the best chance of success and before seats in your program are filled. Regular admission means the school has a definitive admissions deadline where all materials need to be submitted by that date to be considered. Applications are not reviewed until after this deadline passes. Open admission is the final type of admission not listed here. Community colleges and technical schools have open policies, which mean they will accept applications until the start of the school semester. Schools boast that they evaluate their applicants holistically. But what does this mean? It means schools will look at multiple factors to determine admission. The most common factors are the student transcript, SAT or ACT scores, SAT subject tests, essays, the resume, letters of recommendation, supplemental materials such as extra questions for specific majors, and last but not least, demonstrated interest. Demonstrated interest is the one I want to really stress to you in this meeting. Schools track every contact with the school. They track if you've been to campus for a visit, if you've made phone calls, if you have seen them at a college fair. They want to know that you are interested. Demonstrated interest can help you stand out from other applicants with similar academic credentials. Listed here are the upcoming SAT and ACT dates. Most juniors take at least one test this spring and follow up with additional tests before admission. Schools typically recommend you attempt a test twice to get your best possible score. Which test you take is a matter of preference. We recommend trying a practice question for each exam to see which one fits you better. Before we conclude, I want to take a moment to go over some common myths regarding the college application process. Number 1, test scores are the most important criterion in college admission. As we discussed earlier, most schools evaluate applicants holistically. More and more schools are adopting test optional policies. Number 2, there is only one perfect college for me. We all want to believe that there's a perfect school out there for us, but that's just not the case. There is no soulmate to your education. However, that doesn't mean you won't find the right fit for you using the criteria discussed earlier. Number 3, wait until you get accepted to visit. Every school can look good on paper or in pictures. It is important to visit so you can feel the culture of the school and determine if it's somewhere that you could live happily for the next 4 years. Number 4, if I'm getting a C in an honors or AP course, it's okay because colleges will be impressed with my determination. Although this may be partially true, students should take the level course most appropriate for them. Colleges do want to see you challenge yourself, but also want to see you find success. Number 5, I need to decide on my college career before I can choose a college. Many students apply to school undecided. It's okay not to know exactly what you want to be. Just make sure that the schools you apply to have a variety of options that appeal to you. This way, you won't have to transfer later on when you do make a decision. Finally, I'm going to combine these last two together. If I haven't heard of a college or university, it can't be very good. I should attend the most prestigious college that accepts me. Many high school students already have a few ideas which college they want to attend before starting their search. They base their choices on schools that their parents went to, schools their friends are attending, or schools that are famous. Even when they start exploring other colleges, most students will rarely look at lesser-known colleges. But then they miss out on some ideal hidden gems. Here's why you should consider expanding your search to include colleges that you haven't heard about. There are over 4,500 colleges across the United States, some of which are located in far remote cities. It's impossible for any one person to have heard of each and every one of these institutions, but because you haven't heard of a particular college does not mean it's a lesser known or even less reputable school. It just might be outside your radar. Larger colleges have larger marketing budgets and take every opportunity to publish their accomplishments and toot their own horns. Smaller colleges can't afford to spend on media coverage. Instead, they use their limited budgets on hiring the best teachers and creating the best on-campus facilities for their students. Attending a college that is not as visible as an Ivy League doesn't mean you will get a substandard education. Naviance Student is our home base for college applications. All PV students have an account. Students completed workshops this week with our counselors to review the program and to learn how to complete a simple college search in the process to get started. The link to Naviance Student is listed here and is also posted on the district website under Popular Quick Links. Parents have access as well, but most features allow read-only access. This is to discourage parents from doing the work for their students, as students need to take ownership of the college process. I have included a link here for a brief tutorial of the program for parents or students who need a little extra help navigating the system. If you need access to Naviance or have any questions at any time, don't hesitate to reach out to our counselors. Guidance is currently working remotely, so the easiest way is to email them using the addresses here. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We look forward to working with you.